Hi Kiwi, and welcome back to a new episode of Hades 1. This is our mirror setup for the day, and we're taking Fated Authority. You know what that means? We're going for an AFK build today. I figured I've beaten every other 32 heat challenge, so this is probably where I'm going to go. We're going to take Boldy, and I'm going to take the Pierced Butterfly, and we're going to try and stack as much resource as possible for damage. 3 levels of Lasting Consequences, maxing out Jury Summons, 3 levels of Extreme Measures, maxing out Benefits Package, Middle Management, Underworld Customs, Forced Overtime, Damage Control, and 2 levels of Tight Deadline for a total of 32 heat. We'll see how this works. I have to kind of mess around and figure out what works. Athena starting off is great because we can get her dash.
Take heed against your father's legion, Zagreus, and take also my power.
We'll definitely want Holy Shield and any Death Defiances she can refund, but we'll definitely take the dash here because that'll keep us...
Your wisdom guide me.
It'll make it easier for us to stack Pierced Butterfly. Now my hope is that we find either Zeus or Ares on the special. Getting an early hammer here doesn't necessarily help the end game of this build, but it will give us at least some extra damage to kill things faster, and if we kill things faster, we're less likely to get hit. My thought process on the keepsake is Pierced Butterfly gives us 2% extra damage every room we clear without taking damage. That can set us up for a pretty sizable modifier on those Vengeance Spoons that we want. Relentless Volley, that's fantastic. We will gladly take that for Chiron. And Keys we'll definitely see if we can take as well, just because they give us rerolls for later on in the run. I figure the boons that I want, the gods that I want, are definitely going to be Athena, Aphrodite, Zeus, and Ares. Zeus and Ares are probably the most important of the 4 gods, but Aphrodite I would actually consider fairly important because Curse of Longing makes it so our Doom damage continues to stack, or continues to proc even if we're not hitting the enemy with more hits of Doom. So it's really important for our overall DPS, I would say. But we need to get Zeus and Ares fairly early on and get their Vengeance Spoons pretty stacked up for this to even have a chance at working. The reason why I took... Oh, perfect, Zeus. The reason why I took Chiron is because I'm hoping for a good Zeus special, which will let us clear rooms quickly with Chiron, but also set us up for his tier 2s. Jolted, High Voltage, less so important, and of course Double Strike, which we're going to need for his Vengeance Spoon anyway. So if I can get his tier 2s that benefit my overall DPS, I can also therefore benefit my endgame plan.
I'd ask you offer my respects to your Lord Father, Zagreus, but I suspect you won't have such a chance anytime soon, considering how far you'll come with my support.
Plus his special is a precursor for Vengeful Mood, which we'll need anyway. So yep, we'll definitely take that. A nice high tier special is fantastic. Here it doesn't really matter what I take. I'm gonna go for the coin, I guess. Maybe the HP would have been better from the darkness. It's such a little amount that it doesn't feel like it adds up to much, but like at least now with a good Zeus spoon on our special, we're gonna be popping enemies quickly. This run kind of dies in the water if we get any sort of god that isn't of the core 4 that I mentioned. Although I will say an alternative to maybe Athena would be Demeter, because Demeter does offer the chilled effect, which would make Hades attack us 40% slower, and objectively speaking, if we're getting hit less because they're attacking slower, we're taking less damage. I don't know what is honestly better here, to run Lambent Plume for dodge chance or Pierced Butterfly for DPS up. So I figured I'd mess around with Butterfly and play with it a little bit and see what happens. And again, Chiron is, I would say Chiron is number 1, if not number 2, easiest weapon to clear a run without taking too much damage on, because it just has incredible range, and with the right special, even without tagging things with your attack, you can do a ton of damage. I've had some pretty wild Sea Storm runs where I get Poseidon special, stack a whole bunch into Zeus, and we get some crazy DPS as a result, to the point where I just activate my special rather than attacking first, and it still kills rooms pretty heavily, especially if you get like both their legendaries, double wave and splitting bolt. You just melt through enemies really quickly. I do feel like the easiest, like strongest overall DPS potential for duos is definitely up there in terms of Sea Storm. I could make it. I've seen some runs with Glacial Glare and Crystal Clarity on Demeter's cast, which could also do some pretty crazy DPS. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know what duo, when built properly, has the most damage. We're gonna completely ignore Poseidon here. He is not one of the gods we want. And like I was saying, oh my goodness, Ares, that's awesome. Okay,
I'll take this one.
Of course we don't get any of the boons we really want, but Blood Frenzy isn't terrible because it does increase our damage. I don't remember if Slicing Shot is a precursor to some of the stuff we want, but it's at least a precursor to None of these are really the boons we want. We want greater evasion if we can get it. I'll take quick recovery just so I can heal up with it since we don't have much. Oh, good, another Zeus. All right, perfect. So we want to stack as much Zeus as possible. Poseidon really wants to be on this run, it seems. Again, we're going to try and hold out for Aphrodite and worst case scenario, Demeter, I suppose. But definitely would prefer Aphrodite to get Curse of Longing where possible. I do acknowledge that I'm probably not the best set for getting those duos because I forget if Slicing Shot gives us that. It was mostly just I want to hold out for a higher tier Blood Frenzy if I can because it can get up to 30% damage on a higher tier, which would be crazy.
Anyone else?
Ooh, that is a nice juicy Static Discharge, but Heaven's Vengeance, man, I kind of need that. I'm gonna have to take it. All right, we've locked in our first what's the word?
Again, Baldy and I will always be here in your time of need, Princess.
We've locked in our first Vengeance boon. Probably need
Makes sense to me.
we need at least one Ares attack boon to even get the duo in the first place.
Be sure to do this again sometime, Baldy, my friend.
All right, Boldy, what have you given us today? Ambiguity. I mean, that's the nature of our run. All right, we don't want Dionysus. Coin. Not ideal, but I guess I'll take it. I don't want to waste too many rerolls on non-mini boss chambers because mini boss chambers will give us higher higher rarity boons, and this is the sort of build where you really want as much high rarity boon as possible. Honestly, probably should have taken God's Pride over God's Legacy for this, but also without Vengeful Mood, we're kind of dead in the water anyway, and we also need Curse of Longing, so there are two duos we really want to get as soon as possible to make this build even happen. And fortunately got hit in this room, so I'm not going to be getting my Pierce Butterfly proc on this one, but we've stacked up a fair bit of bonus damage on it already.
Charon's going to want all this.
And we'll definitely take the coin here. I'm making reasonable time on tight deadline,
Security.
so we'll take what we can get here. I need to buy, basically my goal is to, once I get my Vengeance boons and my tier 2 boons going, I need to stack as many palm levels on them as possible, which is why I didn't take any levels of convenience fee. And then we need to stack up as much, what's the word? We need to stack up as much HP as possible as well, because we need to be able to survive bigger hits.
How many times?
Other helpful boons that we could potentially get are going to be Aphrodite and Athena's damage reduction boons. Oh, Demeter. All right. I'll probably take Demeter, but let's take the palm first and see what we go.
Cheers, mate.
Unfortunately, we don't get it on Curse of Vengeance.
Powered up.
All right, rare crop. I can take that. Maybe it'll hit our Vengeance boon.
Hello, Fury Sisters.
Come on, Red Blood, let's see you kill me again.
Well, if you're asking so nicely for it, sure, I can oblige. All right, can we kill Electo without taking damage? Of the bosses, I honestly think if I have good DPS, Electo is the boss I most consistently don't get hit by. For some reason, I'm just super prone to going into melee range on Meg and then getting punished for it. The one biggest instance of me taking damage here is this move here, because if I stop to use my special with the wrong timing, she will hit me with those AoEs on the ground. Because I'm locked into place. Getting a Hermes special speed boon is probably not the priority for even a normal Chiron run, but it does help for like trying to stack up Pierced Butterfly, I would say. Yeah, there we go, I got hit. Like I said, these AoEs on the ground, it might honestly be better to just run and dodge rather than try to hit her. So we do lose that potential 2% damage, but it's all right. We can make it work.
Very nice.
All right, on to Asphodel. So far we've got 4 decent gods for this build. The inability to get Curse of Longing.
Sisters are on better terms.
Next up, Asphodel.
All right, I'm gonna drop the dash just so that maybe I can set up for Ares duo. Still, because I believe it's we can get that. We can use it as a prerequisite for some of his duos. Let's see. I'll take the HP up. Doesn't hurt to top off my HP a little bit here. So we are, in terms of what we have right now, it's not fantastic. We've got a very solid special dealing pretty solid damage, and we've got 1 Vengeance boon. We need at least 3 more. Locking ourselves out of Curse of Longing probably isn't the best play, but honestly, at the end of the day, if I just get a really fun special build on Chiron, I'm not going to complain, even if this doesn't go into a full AFK build. We'll see where it takes us. We're hopeful, but I mean, you can look at the title. If you see a title that says the perfect AFK build versus 32 heat, you know we won. We won with that build, and if you don't, well, we still get a very flashy lightning dropping build on Chiron, which I will say, like, The one downside to using Zeus's special on rapid hit moves like Chiron is there is an internal cooldown on the lightning bolt drops, but if you get double strike ignores that internal cooldown. It just has kind of its own, it's a gamble whether it drops the lightning bolt or not. We'll take our first Hermes here, or our second Hermes rather, and we'll hopefully get a good greater evasion this time because we need dodge chance. That's the biggest downside to not taking Aspect of Zagreus and not taking Lambent Plume, is I give up a ton of dodge chance, which honestly may give me more survivability. It's really just a matter of, do I kill things fast enough that they can't kill me, or do I dodge things and kill them slow and steady? And the goal of this run is to kind of litmus test what works, what doesn't work, and adjust my plan for the next attempt at this. Which, if this run does fall through, I'm probably not going to do another AFK attempt immediately. I might do some like practice runs on a separate file and kind of litmus test more, but I figured I was in the mood to record an episode of Hades. Let's do it. Things that drop AoEs are going to be really obnoxious for dealing with Chiron, unfortunately. Also forgetting I have Slicing Shot, which isn't ideal.
Don't get yourself out of there in a hurry, cuz.
Alright, getting the rare crop on Thunder Flourish was pretty nice, and greater evasion level 2 at an epic tier is awesome. Alright, let's see what we get from this trial. The shop is better for saving time, but I think we're gonna make a really good time on tight deadline if this is the route our specialist headed, especially if we're getting a third Zeus boon right now. What do we get? Lightning Strike, Double Strike, excellent. Okay, a 30% chance of dropping a second lightning bolt is huge on Chiron.
You'd choose one of my relatives instead of me, though I myself was first to contact you. Alas, I must respond to you in kind.
Because, again, Chiron Double Strike ignores the internal cooldown on lightning bolts. It just has a 30% chance of activating right now. So basically, I have 8 shots from Chiron, and each of those has a 30% chance of dropping an extra lightning bolt, regardless of whether the Chiron special typically drops like 2 or 3 lightning bolts with the internal cooldown. But with Double Strike, each arrow, each of the 8 arrows still has a whole 30% chance of dropping an additional lightning bolt, which just massively increases our overall DPS. I mean, let's see, what would that be? 30% of 8? So it's just shy. It's like 2 1/4 or 2 1/3, I think. Anyway, the point being is we're going to be getting a pretty substantial DPS up. Especially if we high roll, because, I mean, it's 30% chance, we could have the instance where that 30% just makes every lightning bolt proc while the odds are low. It's not 0. Either way, on average, it's a pretty sizable damage up, and if we can apply that to Heaven's Vengeance eventually, even more so, it'll be great for us. I do think if I'm going to go this route, it might be better to go Blitz Disc or Rama.
I see no benefit to staying angry, cousin. I promised Nyx that I would help rather than hinder you.
I feel like I'd run into a similar issue with Rama. I'll take the dash again. Sure, that'll increase our chances of not getting hit, especially in rooms like this one where we had 1,000 Drakens show up. High tier Ares is very exciting, so I'm going to take that rarity up after all.
Get me out of here.
Alright, we're really hoping for Curse of Vengeance at bare minimum. We can't get Impending Doom yet. We can't get Dire Misfortune yet.
You're not due so.
I'm trying to think. I mean, getting his attack boon isn't a bad idea either, because we kind of need it as a precursor to several of the duos that we need. But I'll take whatever makes most sense in the moment, certainly if it's a higher tier boon. Worst case scenario is we're offered nothing we want, or maybe just Blood Frenzy again, but if we get a high tier Blood Frenzy, it's not the end of the world. It'll certainly up our damage pretty substantially against Hades. This guy has like no HP left, and there we go. I don't even need to attack him, I'm just going to drop the special point blank.
The greatest wars require great alliances, my kin. And so I shall entrust to you some of the greatest methods of destruction I've devised thus far.
Sounds like we're getting some epic tiers. Okay, attack Engulfing Vortex. I'd probably just take the attack here, because there's not much worth re-rolling for. And it also sets us up for, again, the tier 2s that will make Curse of Vengeance scale well, so yeah. Let me just confirm what we need for his duos. Let's see. So, Vengeful Mood and Curse of Longing. So, Vengeful Mood will take anything. Curse of Longing, we specifically need his attack. So, I guess I'll take that, yeah. It's not the most amazing boon for the attack on the bow, but we'll just take what we can get. I guess, in hindsight, since it's on the attack, which isn't the core of our damage, proccing a Doom here and there isn't bad. And we'll get Status Privilege going.
Thanatos.
Love to see a Than Chamber. Saves us some time, gives us some HP.
What say we go take care of business here just like we used to, Zag?
Was that a little bit louder than normal? It sounded like he was shouting.
Ourselves.
I'm not sure if something weird happened with my audio balancing or what. But all right. Of course, since this is the first recording of the morning, Pappy is gracing me with a bathroom movement because she always does. Like, it's incredible. This cat is a spiteful pooper. I
think you can stop me.
choose to. I just gave her a real good cat pat down. Like, I gave her some pats. I played with her toy a little bit, but she wasn't satisfied. She wanted to be on my lap, and because I said no, now she's spitefully pooping right next to me, and she does not cover her litter box uses. So I will start smelling that soon. I'll try and not complain about it too much, but Kiwi, you know it very well. Gnocchi is the only of our 3 cats who is like the polite, will actually clean up after herself. Both your dumb reject barn cat and my dumb, whatever we want to call Pappy.
That settled then.
I wish they cleaned up after themselves a little bit better. All right, let's see what we get. What do we get next? Palm or Eurydice? Eurydice we definitely take because we want to up the rarity of our next couple boons, because we're still hunting for a whole lot of Vengeance boons and some duos. We can get Vengeful Mood with Ares and Zeus now, so I don't know. I'm thinking I don't think it's worth taking Ambrosia Delight. There are just too many things it could hit that could ruin the run, I think.
What's it gonna be, Your Royal Majesty?
Or not benefit the run, I guess. So we'll stick with Refreshing Nectar like usual. All right, and on to, I think this is the end shop. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's take whatever we can get. Palm, HP. All right, we'll start with the Palm.
Just what I need.
And we can toss it on Heaven's Vengeance, sure. Ooh. Oh my goodness, Zeus, you are a generous man. These are like all 3 boons that we still want from Zeus at this point. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I take here. I probably take Vengeful Mood since we need that for the build in the first place. But I don't know what's rarer, honestly. Maybe, you know what, maybe I should have taken the Legendary because we at least have the chance of being offered Vengeful Mood by Ares.
Magma temperature lately, Lerny.
Oh well, and I guess if I had taken the Legendary, I would have killed things faster, but since this build is kind of dependent on Vengeful Mood, I elected for that. In hindsight, probably the objectively wrong choice, but honestly, I was given a plate of gold there. There were so many good options to choose from. I have to say, I like immediately lost my Pierced Butterfly on this room. Unfortunately, it did not play that well at all. But we are, I mean, look at that. We don't even have Splitting Bolt. We barely have anything that's stacking on Zeus, and we are still melting HP bars, which feels pretty good. Like, I don't think we've gotten a terribly incredible number of stacks on Pierced Butterfly, but we certainly have gotten some. Anyway. So what's going on in the world of Jeff and Kiwi? So we're coming up on the time when the CSA for the local farmers market begins again. I know I talked about this a whole bunch in a number of videos previously, but basically it's a farm loot box, basically, with a mixture of fruits and vegetables. It's dependent on how good the season is, so if we have a bad crop season, we're going to have less coming from the CSA, but basically it's an agreement between producer or farmer and community that we pay a lump sum at the start, and then we get a certain amount of vegetable each year, and it helps kind of act as a safety net for the farms if they have a bad year.
Theseus is eager to see you again soon.
Like, we're at 16% on the Pierced Butterfly, which isn't as amazing as I would want. We can definitely get rid of that cast now. It's not doing anything for us anymore because we got the duo between Zeus and Ares. And I'm going to take the rarity up again, because again, we need as many higher tier boons from Zeus, Ares, and I guess kind of Athena. If we can get Holy Shield again, that would be great. But yeah, the CSA is starting again, and I'm looking forward to getting giant sweet potatoes. Okay, we definitely need an Ares boon. We'll take it. Giant sweet potatoes, giant Brussels sprout clubs. I mean, if you watched my end of year video, you've kind of seen the insanity that some of the produce that we got from the CSA the first year was like. So, I mean, I definitely recognize that it's a net loss in terms of, like, if we bought stuff directly from the grocer or that sort of thing, it would be cheaper. But the cool thing about this is it gives us a bunch of things that we've never worked with before. It was our first time ever cooking with a pumpkin, our first time ever cooking with what are they called? Jerusalem artichokes, or sunchokes, I think they're called. I don't even think they're from Jerusalem, so I don't even understand the origin of that name necessarily. But I'm not going to complain. They tasted great. They were like almost like potatoes. They were some sort of root vegetable from the vibe of it. And we sauteed them with garlic and oil and olive oil, and they tasted great. Alright, still really not getting the boons we want here, but I guess I take Dire Misfortune. Objectively less important than Impending Doom. Like, Impending Doom will do so much more damage for us than Dire Misfortune for a Vengeance boon, unless we're getting hit rapid style, which Hades is more big damage in single hits, unless we're doing Extreme Measures 4 and he summons the Butterfly Ball, which we are not. So, unfortunately, this isn't the happiest RNG, but we are seeing a lot of Zeus and Ares, which I do think is worth recognizing, that we've had good RNG in that respect, which means every boon that we take from them is one less boon they can offer when we see them again. I do wonder if it would be optimal to just not... Oh, hey, Splitting Bolt again. Okay, I guess we're never going to get jolted on this run. I gotta take Splitting Bolt. The odds of seeing jolted are pretty high. The odds of seeing Splitting Bolt a third time, not zero, but not great. Well, if nothing else, we are going to have the most incredibly stacked Zeus Chiron build we could possibly hope for, aside from having all of these boons on top of Sea Storm, using Poseidon Special, which we've done before, and it's such a funny build. It's such a strong build. I think the only weapon that kind of one-ups it is probably the aspect of Lucifer building a Super Soaker build, which you know, Kiwi, is one of my favorite builds in this game. But yeah, we if nothing else, we have got great damage, which also means it's much more likely that we will be able to successfully stack up Pierce Butterfly, because if we kill things so fast, we're not going to take hits. Anyway, so I think we've got one more month before the CSA starts, so it's not like immediately soon, but it's coming up fast. And when it is, like, I will be in the like deepest part of my work season. I am going to be working pretty much every week for the next 3 months pretty heavily. But I made sure that, I thankfully have Saturdays off this year, so I can pretty confidently say I will be around to help collect the vegetables and then immediately cook with them with you. Thankfully, my schedule, because I get to schedule most of my stuff in advance, I know what my work year is going to look like, and we are pretty consistent with our days off this year. Metropolis or Athena? Do I re-roll this door and try for a Zeus or Ares boon, honestly? I definitely don't think I'm taking Metropolis. We don't need Death Defiances, we don't need damage up, so let's see. I don't know. I think I'm gonna re-roll. Demeter, don't want. Zeus, there we go. Okay, more Zeus on a mini-boss rarity will be great. And it's Butterfly Ball, which means we can clear this thing extremely fast. Probably would have preferred to see Ares the most, because we really do need Impending Doom and Curse of Vengeance for this build to even have a chance for AFKing. But at the very least, if we can stack up a whole bunch of Zeus boons, we're going to have a lot of damage. If nothing else, we're going to have a lot of damage. Unfortunate. I tried to dash past that barrier and got caught on it with the dash. I hate when that happens, when I'm just outside the dash range to clear it. So we lose the Lemon Plume, but I mean, look at our DPS. We've got some pretty darn solid DPS. We need Jolted right now. And we don't get it. I guess I take High Voltage for bigger AoEs. It'll speed along sticks if nothing else. I'll take the HP. At this point, hammers are completely useless to anything other than clearing chambers faster, but we need survivability if I'm even going to humor the thought of an AFK build. Kiwi, I'm pretty confident at this stage we're not likely going to be seeing a good AFK build here, so don't be surprised if I have to bail out on Zeus. But on the bright side, again, we have got a very flashy Zeus build with a ton of DPS potential on it, frankly. Oh gosh, this is not a fun room. How did I not get hit there? Good spacing and dodging, that's how, until I immediately get punished for it.
All set.
Oh well. We almost made it. Alright, what have we got here? Chaos Gate, probably not worth it. Could consider it though. I'll just take the HP, I think. And then Shop versus Palm, we take the Shop because I think we need as many boons as we can get. Maybe I want this armor damage. No, I don't think so. Let's go for the Shop. We want Palms, we want HP, we want Zeus and Ares, and we got Ares. Awesome. And we still do not get Impending Doom or Curse of Vengeance, but the highest tier, Blood Frenzy, not bad. We'll take the HP, and I think I'm honestly gonna go. Am I gonna do this Charon fight? I think I am. Yeah.
Hey, Charon, look at me.
We need the money for sticks, and the price reduction will really help us because we could get another Hermes boon, we could get another, or we could get a. I don't actually know what else we could get from Hermes because there isn't a whole lot, admittedly. But at the bare minimum, like, look at our DPS. We are doing 800 a special at least. That's pretty nice. And Charon is so easy to space out when you have a build like this too. Because, I mean, if you see him start running towards you, you just want to dash past him to avoid his big swinging purple ore attack. But, oh, there it is. I dashed away, which probably should have gotten me hit, but thankfully I was not punished for it. I definitely could have been. Oh my goodness. I really do have to be careful, though, because if he hits me, he's hitting a 40, and that will wipe out a huge chunk of our HP. But if I can be Charon damageless, that would be awesome, and Goldie usually speeds this along phenomenally. Come on. Got him. Okay. Oh my goodness. I hate that those linger a little bit. Those projectiles linger a little bit even after you've beaten him, but there we go. Okay. Damageless Charon. Love it. Now we get a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of cheaper boons later on, potentially from shops. It's great. Alright. Look at these lightning bolts dropping. They are just melting enemies. Ah, man. Nothing... I don't think there is very much in this game that beats a fully stacked Zeus build in terms of DPS potential. It's so much fun.
It's regenerating.
Zeus is hands down, I would say, the strongest god in terms of DPS, but he offers very little in the way of survivability. The only thing that I could argue is a survivability boon from Zeus is his, I forget if it's... I think it's Clouded Judgment. Basically, you increase the amount of god gauge you gain when you get hit or deal damage. Because if you have a defensive call like Poseidon or Athena's call, you can use those to spam them and take less damage. I guess in similar vein, Smoldering Air with that sort of effect is also super viable as like Zeus's only quote-unquote defensive boon. I think the biggest downside to Zeus is pretty much all 11 of his boons that he gives, I think it's 11 boons, are palmable. So if you're trying to palm a very specific... Wait, double strike? I think I double strike. It'll speed along our special damage too, and it'll benefit Curse of Vengeance. Because if it activates, it's double damage, I guess. I don't know. Oh, more Zeus. Wow, we are stacking everything on Zeus. Of course, we get the lowest tier static discharge, but that's okay. And our palm hit high voltage, unfortunately. All right, well, we're gonna melt some heroes, I think. We basically are full build on Zeus now.
Try as you might, monster, you shall not shake either my own resolve or that of my dear friend.
Now you see their HP, now you don't. Okay, you still do, but you get the point. Like, we are rapid fire doing damage, and as long as we keep Jolted stacked up on them, they're gonna... Whoa, hello, Ghoul. Oh my goodness. I mean, as long as we continue to just get some good palms, we can up our damage pretty substantially, but like, I think if nothing else, we are going to melt through the Styx chambers. Because I could have dodged that. Because with high voltage and all the damage, we have Splitting Bolt, we have Jolted, we have Double Strike, and we have a huge, giant number of arrows that are activating all of that. We are just going to be constantly dropping damage in large swaths of AoE, and Styx chambers, at least outside of the mini-boss chambers, like the end chambers, are just gonna have like no way of avoiding the damage. Alright, we just melt Theseus here while we can. Like, look at all those numbers just popping off of him. It feels so good to see a Zeus build get fully stacked. Alright, Theseus. Trying to think, since I was on the topic of the CSA, what would I want to see most out of all the produce that we could get on offer? I guess, honestly, my favorite thing, honestly, more Sunchokes would be fun. I know as we get towards the fall months, those big 5 to 10 pounds of bags of apples will be great, and all the blueberries. Kiwi and I are blueberry fiends. I mean, if you were around the time of July last year, we bought like...
Until next time, good shade.
Or we went picking, and I think we picked like 5 pounds of blueberries and converted them into a year's worth of mini muffins. We still have mini muffins left over from last year. All right, we stick with the Pierce Butterfly. We sell... Ooh. Oh man, we don't have a good set of options for selling here. Maybe I should avoid Fated Authority and just commit to Fated Persuasion. I think I have to give up Blood Frenzy because there's no way I give up the other two if we're going for a Vengeance build. That's really unfortunate. That was a really juicy Blood Frenzy. Yeah, I don't really have a choice here. Alright, letting it go.
I'll be needing that.
That's annoying. That's so annoying. Like, that is why I think it is so important. You either need perfect RNG or you need to find a way to not take Underworld Customs. It's just so unforgiving if you get unlucky with, like, a boon that is core to your build, or the 3 boons that are core to your build. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure we had some boons that I'd be happy to give up, like Dire Misfortune is basically useless in this build. Why do I have it? I need Impending Doom. Oh well, and of course Demeter's just here to clog up the arteries of what we actually want here. Zeus. We'll take the Zeus chamber first, probably. Is there anything I want to buy from the shop? The palms I could get early. Actually, I guess we're kind of fully stacked on Zeus. The only reason to take Zeus here is it's funny, and I know we're not going to be getting our vengeance build, so I'm just going to go for it. Let's just get as many Zeus boons as possible for the memes, because I'll humor the AFK build at the end of this run, but I very minimally expect it to work. And like I said, look at this. Like, there is no room for these enemies to evade our damage, and they're getting hit by every high voltage drop, or high voltage AoE enhanced drop of a lightning bolt, the splitting bolt. It's just, our DPS is kind of busted right now. If I could actually hit things through solid objects, which, there we go. Daters are going to be annoying, because I don't actually know, does the special on Chiron actually stagger enemies? It's unclear if it does. You know what, I'm gonna reroll Zeus, because there really is nothing left for us to get from Zeus here. So I'm gonna reroll Zeus and see if we can get anything better or more useful for us. And of course it's only coin or HP. Well, I guess we lose. Oh well. Should have just stuck to the meme. That's what I get for backing out on the meme. It's just, it's like I said, we really have literally every Zeus boon we want and need, and without a call, there's no reason to like get hit more from him. So I would have liked to see Ares or Demeter, or even Athena. Like, where's Athena been this run? Athena just like appeared at the start and then just bailed out for the rest of the run and never came back except for one trial. I betrayed her trust, and now she's like, well, I'm never gonna trust you again. I'm never gonna give you anything again. Like, all I want is Holy Shield, but you kind of like really rely on Holy Shield. What I do know is we have a lot of sound effects of things getting lightning bolted. And thankfully, we do have status privilege, or privilege status going as well. I don't look. I've only just realized that it's privilege status, isn't it? I'll save my money for now. I think. Where's the fish? Never mind. All right. Well, do I take the Demeter? Do I reroll the Demeter? I reroll the Demeter.
Better idea.
Of course, it's Zeus. Whatever. At this point, I'm just committed. Whatever. Let's stack up on Zeus. We'll commit to the meme. I'm punished for meming in the first place. Look, I cannot complain here. We have the best, nearly the best possible Zeus special on Chiron build we could hope to ask for. Like, aside from higher rarity, Jolted, and Double Strike, we're basically as stacked as we could ever hope to be on a Chiron special. Like, this is a build that would carry higher heat runs. I know we're running, what, 32 heat? So, like I mean higher than 32 heat. Like, this is the run that you want to see for a 40 heat run, for example. Food for thought for later. I think I'm going to take my one win on that for now and be happy with it.
I accept this message.
Alright, it doesn't matter. I guess we just take his call, right? I could argue for lightning reflexes, but we don't want things near us. And his cast is fun. I'm just gonna stick with the call.
Disgusting. Cerberus will love it.
Alright. So we got our 2 chamber sticks. I probably don't go hunting for more. I mean, the HP or the palm would be good for just maxing out our...
What else?
Oh, hey, look who showed up after all my whining. Well, I guess I take her. Maybe we can still get Holy Shield after all. That's funny. That's funny. I whine about Athena just completely abandoning us, and then there she is, just... Oh, my goodness. Like, I will say this time and time again, I don't think there is a single god that has spited me more than Athena, with Demeter being a strong second, but that's kind of the extent of it. I'll take the HP. At this point, what does it matter? Just trying to heal up what I can. Like, basically the only thing I want from Athena at this stage right now is Holy Shield, her Vengeance Boon. And we'll see if I get it or not, but I definitely feel a little bit disappointed by the RNG outcome. That said, having Zeus's call on this build with everything else is just going to mean our DPS is going to be insane. The one downside is Zeus's call is kind of a melee call. You need to be fairly close range for it to hit enemies appropriately. But we'll see what we can get here, I suppose. All right, what do we get? Well, I guess we have a whole Satyr chamber to deal with before I even ask that question. The bright side is I guess I can use Zeus's call for like higher HP close range enemies that are easy to kite out, and Hades kind of does fall into that camp, especially on Extreme Measures 3 when I'm not dealing with his third phase and all of his extra movement patterns. He's pretty easy to kite out, and I can fairly consistently, I wouldn't say no damage, but I've definitely had more than a fair share of no damage Hades kills. So I feel like Actually, thinking about it, I completely forgot we were running Pierce Butterfly, and it feels like I kind of, in my gameplay, also did that. I have taken more hits than is ideal. Like, my goodness, can you hear me over all of this lightning dropping? The sound effects are kind of intense. Did not need... Oh my goodness, I just lost 75 HP in, like, the matter of a second. That is unfortunate. Alright, and we get nothing. We got nothing of value. I guess sure-footing to reduce some damage from pots, but honestly...
Divine protection.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna take Deathless Stand. Like, I don't care, man. This run is shot. Alright, let's get our Demeters, our Palms. Let's see, can I buy all of these? I might be able to. I'm gonna start with Palms.
All in one place, mate.
Cool. Nothing I really want. Let's put it on high voltage because why not? I think you can feel the tilt, Kiwi. Nourish Soul I'll take for the healing because that'll make us survive a little bit better. And we do not get Demeter's Vengeance Spoon. So we have a single Vengeance Spoon on this supposedly AFK run.
After deliberating briefly, Cerberus concludes that yes, he shall accept the sack.
Alright, Kiwi, I'm gonna commit to it. I know it's not gonna work, but let's see how much damage Zeus alone with a really stacked Zeus build can do with Heaven's Vengeance. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna AFK until I feel like I can't AFK any further. And then we'll send it. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me, I might need some more sleep. Forgive me for that. Yeah, I don't expect this to work.
Already here? Seems our underworld still has many failings I shall have to deal with after this.
We have minimal survivability. We have incredible DPS on our special. I don't think Heaven's Vengeance is gonna do it. Like, let's see what happens though. All right, Zeus, bring it on. I mean Hades. Cool, we are already down to Death Defiance and we've barely tickled him. This doesn't feel... I guess Deathless Stand is paying off there. All right, yeah, I don't think this is happening. I don't think this is happening, Kiwi. I'm just gonna finish him. Alright. Like, we proved our DPS is nothing, and we're already almost down 2 Death Defiances. I'm just gonna face take a bunch of hits. On the bright side, we did get to get we did basically get an immediate greater call. Let's look at this DPS. Ready? Watch his HP bar here as soon as the Death Defiance is over. Like, goodbye HP. Alright, yeah. Like I said, we have an insanely stacked Zeus build. We just do not have an insanely stacked AFK Zeus build. One day, Kiwi. One day I'm going to make it happen, and it'll be a 32 heat clear with an AFK build, and it's going to feel good. We just need a lot of RNG in our favor, and I need to find the Pact of Punishment setup that makes it work well. I think ultimately Chiron is probably not the way to go.
Right.
I honestly wonder if Hestia would work if I could just like get a good attack boon.
I shall not fall to you.
But I would need to take either. I would probably have to take Ares' attack and Zeus's special. So I would have to be depending on Hestia's base damage. But like, my goodness, look at how fast we are melting him. I honestly probably just want to get hit so I can stack up Greater Call sooner. Alright. Alright, there it is. Ready? Go.
It shall be so.
I'm just gonna go point blank and spam special and watch his HP bar get melted. Like, look at that damage. That... Nothing beats a fully stacked Zeus build. Good times all around.
You have your mother's perseverance. How is it that you got this strong?
My uncle.
See you at home.
Bye-bye, Daddy Darkness. I can't believe I just called him that. Alright, well, we got a heroic special with basically every Zeus boon we could ever possibly want. So Aspect of Chiron, I think we definitely honor the special. Toss off boldly. And Vengeful Mood was completely useless on this run. We definitely want to show off Splitting Bolt. Deathless Stand, no. Dire Misfortune, no. Vengeful Mood for sure not. Alright, so I think let's toss on the Splitting Bolt. Relentless Volley probably, and then the special, I think. Oh wait, we already have the special on here. Oh, Double Strike, definitely Double Strike. And then the special, which I already said 3 times is on there. Relentless Volley probably, maybe, I don't know. Double Strike. Kiwi. I care about this pattern too much. Here we go. Okay, this will look a little bit more cosmetically appealing, and then we'll take, I think, Relentless Volley there. Yeah, we'll do... High Voltage is funnier, though. Or do I just put Dire Misfortune for the salt? Now let's take Relentless Folly. All right, there we go. Okay, well, no, not an AFK build, but a very strong Zeus build.
Despite having transcended past the confines of the underworld yet again, Prince Zagreus proves utterly unable to get past this point.
So what did I learn? What worked, what didn't work? I still think there's a point of victory for Pierce Butterfly, but I wonder if Lambent Plume will be a little bit more consistent for me if I can get a good starting attack boon. Then it's a matter of Zagreus Gauntlet, Zagreus Twin Fist, Zeus on the aspect of Zeus.
Remember your training, lad.
Or aspect of Hestia are probably my best options for this sort of build.
You're looking just as well as ever, Zagreus.
Take care, mother.
Terrifying Cerberus is busy gathering his strength for when next he shall bar the prince's path.
Active punishment wise, we definitely don't take more than level 2.
More pets.
Maybe I have to go like maximum lasting consequences and just play super safe with Pierce Butterfly. Or Lambent Plume would probably help too with the dodge chance.
I have some catching up to do, as you can see.
I can't see that, Hades, but if you say so. Ooh, nuke
I
dialogue.
must commend you on the most splendid lyre playing emanating from your bedchambers, my friend. It seems we have a second court musician now.
I'm officially good at music,
Thank you for
Kiwi.
encouraging me to give it a shot, mate. And for the kind words.
All right, a prophecy fulfilled at long last. Man, that took a while.
Made it all the way last time.
I think you need to play the lyre a total like 270 times or something. We don't need more Titan Blood Broker. Thank you, though.
Sun's got the top honors again, I guess.
Let's see. I think those are really the main things.
Thank you for visiting me, child.
I think I need to rethink about how I'm going to do my Pact of Punishment setup for this, and then I have to start Plume or Pierce Butterfly and hope that we get a Zeus or Ares boon starting out.
Came to pass.
All right, the son of the god of the dead shall someday learn to perform music halfway decently through the teachings of the solemn master
I'm
of
no
art.
Orpheus, but I'm no slouch.
We got it. Sounds fancy. All right, Kiwi. Well, that's about it for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed, or I guess it's the morning still. That's it for this episode. Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're sleeping, I hope you're
could use a good smack in the jaw from you right about now.
I hope you're sleeping well. Kiwi, I love you, and I will see you in the next one for some more Hades.
Sweet release.